Everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Monday, April 24th, 2023. Welcome to Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, as always, Brian Kruse. Welcome back on this Monday, everybody. Thank you for joining us here, as always. And also joining us here today, the lovely Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How's your night been?
Hi, so far so good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. How's your day? Everything been good?
Yeah, very easy, chill day, which is not the norm, so I'm thrilled.
Oh, great. Chill day is always nice. We got to have those once in a while, right?
Absolutely.
It's very necessary in life. You have like chill days and crazy days. Hey, GR, welcome in the chat. And also joining us back here, writer, director, actor, also has her own podcast, Cinema D'Amore, Lexi Covill. Lexi, welcome back to the program. How you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm good. I'm back.
How's the podcast going? I hear you got some great Fast and the Furious stuff happening right now.
So we are covering every Fast and the Furious movie. Thus, I wore my Fast and the Furious shirt tonight for the show. If you want to hear us talk about all of the movies this month, we are going through every single film. So we're putting out 2 episodes this month instead of 1. So that's a special treat for everyone. And we are going to be covering everything right up to 10 when 10 comes out. So that's unique for us. We don't usually cover things when they come out. And we're doing like 10 friggin' movies in like a month. So
That's a lot.
Yeah. So we're powering through it. And like Justin's over here editing all the odd numbered ones. And I'm over here editing all the even numbered ones. So like every Friday mine comes out. Every Tuesday his comes out. So if you want to hear us talk about Fast and the Furious and hear me fight with Justin about the relevance of car culture to these films, go ahead.
The relevance of car culture? That's awesome.
It's so funny. He keeps fighting with me. He's like, "Geez, we're a film podcast. No one cares about cars." I'm like, "These movies are so important to cars." I'm like, "You need to shut the fuck up."
They're all about cars. I mean, they're seriously all about cars. But it's also like, yeah, it's film. It's a big action sequence for everything they do there. Everything is huge, you know? But, I mean, they focus on the cars so much. If it wasn't for the cars, you wouldn't have them. They're characters. They're all characters in this.
The first film is literally Point Break for 13-year-olds. Like, that's all it is with cars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about but the cars as far as I'm concerned.
And how do they hold up watching them straight in a row? Is it fun or is it, like, exhausting? How is it?
Well, as you know, and you've had me on here a lot, and you know that I pretty much don't like most things. I fucking love these movies. Like, these are some of my favorite movies. And like I said before, I think one of the things that's exciting about The Fast and the Furious, not to like go into a big thing about The Fast and the Furious, but that this is one of the only franchises that's still running today that's not based on anything. Like, this was a standalone film that, like, they went, okay, this did well, let's make another one. Then that did well, and they went, okay, let's make another one. And here we are, like, 20 years later, and they're like, hey, we have a franchise. And it's like, it's not based on a book or a TV series, not pre-existing properties or anything like that. It's like, damn, can you tell me any other film property that is just based entirely on a film, not based on anything else, that just kept going like this? Because other than Friday the 13th or like some of those horror franchises or stuff like that, I can't think of any film series that's had this much money, this much time, and this much energy put behind it that wasn't based off of pre-existing books or properties or high-level investments like that. Like, this is just like so unique. And the thing is that every time you go to one of these movies, you don't know what the hell you're going to get. There is no expectation going. Like, well, I mean, you're gonna get family, you're gonna get explosions, you're gonna get family. But outside of those factors, like, genuinely, like, I like these movies because I have no expectation going into them. And like, that's the greatest thing in film, is going into something and having no expectation. And it's so nice to have that, even when there's 10 of them and you kind of know that you're gonna get explosions and cars. But outside of that, I don't know what I'm gonna get.
That's true. Family.
You know,
and
the
Corona,
ending is going to be a big barbecue.
Corona.
It's going to be a big barbecue with a lot of cool cars, and it's going to stress family.
And some great explosions and some great like special effects driving.
A lot of bald men. Like a lot of bald men. Yeah.
If you're a bald man, you have an opportunity to work on Fast and Furious.
That is absolutely correct. There is always an opportunity for bald men in those series. So
call your agent. Call your agent now if you have not been booked.
You have too much hair, Brian. You're out.
I can't do it.
Too much hair.
Yeah.
Sorry, not booking me.
It's
Not
too
happening.
Good. It's too good. You can't. Mm-mm.
No. Maybe when they get to like Fast and the Furious like 30, I'll be there. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hey, I'm willing to shave my hair for a role. Come on, let's do it. You know.
No. It's too good.
But I'm excited about. Everybody needs to check out the podcast. Really do. I mean, there's a lot going into all this Fast and the Furious stuff. They're doing a lot of research. They're getting into it, having a great time, and we'll definitely have to check it out. Everybody will put some more links in here. You'll see.
I'm here for GR. I want to see GR in a Fast and the Furious movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, GR, get it. I'd be all about that.
Right.
I feel like he'd be real good working the grill at that last family scene.
That's right.
Who wants the hot dog? Who wants the
He's
hamburger?
just there working the grill. Vin
Bring me a
Diesel,
Corona.
GR. Yep.
Somebody pass me a Corona now. Love you, GR. And as always, everybody, we got to get into it. So now it's time for some breaking news. All right, the very first thing I want to talk about, just very quickly, is The Good Doctor has been renewed for a 7th season at ABC. That's right, the hit medical drama is coming back. It's #1 entertainment series in Monday's 10 p.m. hour time slot with adults 18 to 49, and it also is tying Quantum Leap at NBC. So they're kind of neck and neck right now, but it's been going for a long time. Marlene Kruse, friend of the show, mother of the show, loves this show, so she's probably be super excited about this. More than 9 million total viewers this season, too. And they're actually proposing a spin-off called The Good Lawyer. All right?
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's necessary. But they're talking about The Good Lawyer. And the season finale for season 6 will end on May 1st. You'll get your fix of The Good Doctor coming in. I guess maybe The Good Lawyer coming soon? I don't know. I don't know. It's not for me. Anyways, as this is coming back, something going away is, and I knew this was going to happen, the National Treasure TV series, Edge of History. That's right, everybody. If you're a fan of this, unfortunately, it's going away after 1 season on Disney+. And they were hoping Jerry Bruckheimer was involved with this, who did all the National Treasures. You have the producer back. You're like, oh, this should be a hit, we're going to do this. And it's, it just didn't go over well. I watched the first few episodes, and I was just kind of like, And in case you're wondering, what's it about? Well, it's timely issues of identity, community, historical authorship, and patriotism told through the point of a view of Jessie Morales, a 20-year-old dreamer who, with her diverse group of friends, set off on an adventure of a lifetime to uncover her mysterious family history and save a lost Pan America treasure.
No Nicolas Cage.
No Nicolas Cage.
No deal.
No Cage, no deal. But apparently, Bruckheimer says that he's still moving forward with National Treasure 3, and Nick Cage will be attached to that. Now, the thing is, though, do you think that's still going to happen with this doing so bad? Or do you think that, he'll just, still do it? I mean, I don't know. I'm just not sure about it. What do you think, Lexi? You think it's still going to happen? I just don't know. Like, you think that, Nick Cage will probably do it, though, right? Justin Bartha won't be there. Justin Bartha, he did the show. I don't know. What do you think, Sabrina? Do you think this is a good idea, though? This did so bad. Do you think that people really want to watch National Treasure still?
Well, I don't really blame National Treasure for this disaster, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think it's like a thing unto itself. I know it shares the name, and Justin Bartha did a pop-in, but I feel like if Nicolas Cage is back and they get, the original cast involved, that it will still make a shit ton of money and people will go see it. I'll go see it.
Yeah, I love the original ones. I think they're fun. They're a good adventure. Like, you're going here, going there. You're trying to find, the MacGuffin almost, kind of. Indiana Jones kind of does the same thing sometimes, too. But it's just it's an adventure. You're putting the pieces together. It's fun. So if they can do it well as the original ones, I think it'll be good. And I think Nick Cage would do it. He said, he'd be down. So why not? Make it happen, Jerry. Make it happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing is, I knew this was going to fail. Did you see this, Lexi?
They cast it with 2 women as the leads. And I could tell you that's probably what hurt it in a lot of ways.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. That shouldn't be the problem.
It's true. But, if they had brought Nicolas Cage in for a TV series, it would have done well. If they had brought Nicolas Cage in any factor of it. Nicolas Cage was the selling point of all of those movies. Nicolas Cage was in his peak in those movies, and he's peak Nicolas Cage in those movies. How many people in your life have you heard go, "What's that there on the dollar bill?" Like that's one of the most like I did never watch I never watched those movies, and I've had that quoted at me like time and time again, and even I've quoted it without seeing those movies. I've seen them since, but like
Yeah.
it took me years to even consider watching them because but they were like huge parts of our pop culture lexicon. So he established himself as a character. He's this, it's like Indiana Jones. It's like, are you going to watch Indiana Jones without Harrison
Indiana
Ford?
Jones.
They keep trying, but like at the end of the day, you want Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. You want, this with Nicolas Cage. You don't want a bunch of other characters coming in, and if you are going to do them, you at least want familiarized characters brought in to give you something to work off of. Nobody gives a shit about American history being some sort of crypto whatever thing that leads you to mystery and adventure. What the fuck ever. That's just the core. That's just the wrapping around what made Nicolas Cage say and do wacky shit. Like that's what people come in here for. Like half the time, most of these franchises are built off of the actors and who does well in them. So, as long as you have no one's here for like some of them are. I mean, there's some things like you like Ghostbusters, right? But you're not you're not like, oh, I like Ghostbusters because of ghosts. It's like I like Ghostbusters because of the cast. It's like the cast was what brought that together. Like it's always like what brings it together. Like if you don't have a good cast and you don't have a good grouping of people, then you're not interested in the product. It's the people that bring it all together. Doesn't matter. You don't have the right people.
And the rating.
Writing is very important too. Like writing is another major factor. But I've seen things that have been very poorly written, and you still give it to the right people, and they can pull it together. And so it's like as long as you have like competent director and a competent set of actors, you can take garbage and turn it into gold.
In the same vein, I have seen things that were written well and
that too.
Been put to shit by the fucking wrong cast. So like that's the same point that you're making, but
exactly, yeah.
It's weird. It's very synergistic filmmaking. You need everybody to gel correctly. And I know there are stories where like some person was a monster to work with, or like, you have a horrible director and, the movie still turns out to be amazing. But like, it's just every single department, every single person is a cog in the wheel. And when everything is working together properly and you have the right group of people and people are having fun making it, I feel like even if it's not like National Treasure is not like the best movie of all time, but it's fun, it's fun for families. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's just like a fun, it
makes history fun too.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess.
It makes history fun, I would say.
Yeah. I think Hamilton makes history fun. Okay. I don't know about that.
Yeah. But like you're saying, having the right cast, having the right director, sometimes that alone can make something great, but you have to have the script too. Another project that has like probably the right director, the right cast, and a huge, huge cast is Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, I just want to talk about this very briefly because it kind of came out what the runtime is for this. And everyone's going crazy online about this. It's clocking in at 3 hours and 26 minutes. And at that right now, it is, now it's not Scorsese's longest film. Now, The Irishman was still two minutes longer than that. But what people are saying, though, is like theatrical run, because Irishman only had like a short run. This is going to have like a full run. So for his full run, it'll be his longest movie in theaters, but still not his longest movie. But people are going nuts about how it's too long. And, this is, of course, a historical piece. We've talked about on the show. It's coming out October 20th, 2023. And Apple's doing this, too. And it's still not going to be... I don't think it's still going to have the kind of theatrical run as most things. Because, again, it's going to be like released Apple after like a couple weeks. So, I don't know. It's whatever. It's 3 hours and 26 minutes. Most people watch on their couch at home. So, I don't really see a problem with this. Of course, it is too long. GR, you're right. It's too long for a theater, though. I think it's too long. But people are going nuts online, so if you were excited about this, just know, if you're going to the theater, you better hold your pee or find a way to go, find the best spot and go back and see it again. I don't know. But also, speaking of a historical figure, I want to talk about King Charles for a second. And because people love...
Endgame. Wasn't Endgame like 3 hours, 37 minutes? Like...
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot. I mean, I feel like movies are more often like...
I didn't want to cut you off there.
At the two and a half hour mark is totally normal. Now 3 hours is totally normal for Marvel, DC. Like they don't give a fuck.
This is Scorsese. Like, I'm sorry. Like, did you watch Wolf of Wall Street? Were you like lost
great.
for like? Yeah, it's one of the most brilliant films. I'm sorry, it's 3.5 hours long. I'm like, are you sad about that? I'm like, I was totally engrossed the entire time. Like, if you can hold my attention for 3.5 hours, Scorsese's never made a film that hasn't held my attention for that length of time. I will watch anything that's 3.5 hours from that man. You said The Irishman, brilliant film.
Yeah.
Watched it for 3.5 hours, lost the whole time in it. Great. When a film has poor pacing, when a film has poor direction, when a film has poor whatever, that's when you start to feel it. I don't want to watch 3.5 hours of superheroes bouncing around on the screen. That shit was boring to me. But like, when you give me something as brilliantly written as Wolf of Wall Street, I will watch that again for another 3.5 hours. Like, it's about the commitment of the film and what the film's delivering to me. There are films that I watch that I'm like, this runtime's too long, and then there are also films that I watch and I'm like, I needed another hour and a half to this to flesh the story out properly because you didn't give it enough time. I'm like, you have to understand what you're working with and who you're working with. Scorsese is a director who can absolutely give me a 3-hour-long film. I will sit in a movie theater. I will not be bored. You have given me continuously non-stop 3-hour films that have shown me repeatedly that I will sit through your films and never be bored. I will absolutely sit through every 3.5-hour long. Scorsese can make 4-hour-long movies, and I will never complain and I'll never be bored. I will watch a 4-hour-long Scorsese film before I'll watch a 2-hour-long Lord of the Rings.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't like. I'm sorry. Like,
how about the extended
more
edition of Lord of the Rings, like with 12 hours of viewing time? How about film me?
I didn't want to get like off subject on this, but like I saw like this when I was reading the notes, and I was like, it's nothing to complain about when it's the right director and it's the right person. Scorsese, please, 5-hour movie, 7-hour movie.
I'm fine with it. I don't understand people go crazy.
Like, this is a real thing that happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's a real thing that happened. And in order to do this story justice, which is a very important part of American history that they don't want to tell us because it makes the Americans look bad. Or the Americans. Like, let's be real. The Native Americans are the Americans. But, like, it sheds, like, a dark light on our history. And people, like, that's why they don't teach that shit. That's why you didn't learn that in history when you were younger. You know, so like, it's an important story that needs to be told, and if it takes 3.5 hours to tell it properly, I'm there for it.
And that's what it is.
He's going to give us great casting. They're all going to give stellar performances. They're all going to be up for awards. We're all going to be like wondering which one of them's going to walk away. You know, it's not even going to be questionable. This is not a complainer. This is one of those examples of, yes, please give me a 3-hour film. No more 3-hour Harry Potters. No more 3-hour, Fast and the Furious films. No more superhero films that are 3 hours long. Those are 1.5-hour long films. Popcorn movies are 1.5-hour long films. Those don't need to be dragged out long and long and long and long. They keep doing that with that shit. No one wants that. What we do want are 3.5-hour long, well-directed, epic pieces by exceptional directors. I want Aronofsky films that are 3 hours. I want Spike Lee films that are 3 hours. I want my proper, well-done director films, fleshed out, dragged out, and given me well-directed stories. But I do not need a bunch of franchise IPs dragged through the fucking mud for hours and hours and hours and hours. That's not acceptable. But this, all fucking day. All fucking day. There. Scorsese, yes.
I agree with you too. I know people want to complain because like, oh, it's too long, but I feel like with you, Lex, the same thing. It's like a lot of times, a lot of movies like this, I'm like, oh, it's just too short. They're not giving it enough time to develop the plot, and they're rushing through things when you have such a phenomenal cast in the story. And something like this, when you have Scorsese doing it, it's like, it's just, it's going to be great. He's spending his time on it. It's a story that's been needed to be told for a long time. So do it right. Don't rush it. Right. Really, just don't rush it. So I'm excited about it.
I watch Russian cinema, so like I'll watch 4-hour long films about like nothing. So like, as long as it's good though, like it's all about giving me, that. I don't need nonsense. I need a well done story. Scorsese's got it.
Well, speaking of some nonsense, I think, and it's probably gonna be too long, is the King Charles documentary that's coming out. So everybody, then people love it when we talk about the family, the monarch family, but here we go. So King Charles has a documentary coming out for Paramount Plus on May 2nd. Now it's a companion piece of him actually being, initiated and coronated as being the King of England. So they're going to have, stories from former friends and girlfriends and schoolmates and his private staff. And it's going to be 90 minutes long.
It's weirder by the second.
I know. 90 minutes long. They're calling a coming-of-age tale. Partly a coming-of-age tale. Exclusive interviews from behind the...
He's like 90. What do you mean coming of age?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're pitching it as. They're calling it a coming-of-age story. GR says he sucks. Never before seen photos and letters. And his best friend actually named it, his boarding school schoolmate named it this because he was the boy who walked alone, and people used to bully him, and he was hiding in isolation, which I kind of have a hard time believing, but The Boy Who Walked Alone, King Charles story, is coming to Paramount Plus.
It's the boy who walked alone. I spent my entire life walking alone.
I was waiting for it. That's why I knew it.
I don't talk to my son anymore. I walk alone then too. That terrible woman. I was alone in my life.
Not coming to my coronation.
He looks like he's like
my coronation.
Story or Harry Potter or something. I mean, for fuck's sake, look at that picture. He looks like Ed Potts kind of a little bit too.
So Sabrina, are you excited about this?
No.
You can't wait to tune into Paramount Plus to see this, or what?
No, and you know what? I find it actually quite hypocritical that they give Harry so much shit. And everyone knows I'm not a fan of the Harry and Meghan situation at all, and like all the publicity and the bullshit. But they like made a huge deal about how they're airing all of this for royal business, and now you're going to do a documentary, "The Man Who Walks Alone." Please, please, please stop! Like I cannot.
He's the boy who walks alone.
Even worse,
young boy. He walks alone.
The geriatric who hobbles along is what they should call it. Like I don't understand. Like it's actually offensive to me. I just don't know what to say about it. Like they're a mess, and I think Queen Elizabeth, the poor thing, is definitely rolling around in her grave right now. She's like, I leave for 5 minutes, and this is what fucking happens. These fucking ungrateful fucks. They're ruining it. They're ruining it all. Like,
he's not there to hold me hand anymore for me walks.
Not anymore.
I mean, this is all this guy's ever wanted.
GR's calling him a bloody twit in the chat there.
I thought it said twat. That's why I didn't put it up. I was like, that's
no twit.
I'm just kidding. We know I say that all the time. I'm just
He's a bloody twit. Bloody twit. We say worse than twit. That's
it's
for
just
sure.
That. I mean, oh God. I really honestly, the person I feel bad the most is poor. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth, because I know that this is very, very difficult for you, and you worked your whole entire life to keep things just so. And you even let him marry that whore piece of shit that he wanted to marry. You let Harry marry Meghan. You let all these people do things that would not normally be accepted. And you loosen the reins a little bit. And now you give them an inch, they take a fucking mile. That's what's happening.
I feel like it's all. I feel like this is PR though. This is PR though,
They're walking
Sabrina.
a mile in the little boy's shoes, or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. It's terrible.
This is all PR, I think, because of everything that came out with Harry and Meghan. They want to shine some great light on him before he becomes king, and everyone is gonna love him. I don't think they're gonna love him. I don't think so. And
if anyone knows his actual story and who he actually is, I don't think it's gonna make things better. But if they're gonna
shine some light
and not say all of the things that happened when he was with Diana and the fact that he was cheating on her and all these other things, not great.
My brother
not
took
great
me
look.
over to Jeffrey Epstein's island one time, and it was wonderful.
Oh my God! Do you know that Prince Andrew is actually in higher status than Harry now? I don't want to.
That's I've heard that. Yeah,
he's in higher. He has higher popularity and is regarded higher in the royal family than Harry is. That's cray.
Wild.
An associate of Jeffrey Epstein. And they made those two the Markles move out of their cottage or whatever they call it, so that he could move in because they wanted to take over his property. So Prince,
get him out of there.
He's living there now, and those two are. I'm relegated to
and they were so upset.
$1 mansion in Santa Barbara.
So upset they don't have their little cottage. They talk shit about over and over again how it was sucked. You know what I mean?
It was so
They're
small.
so upset about it now.
They call it a castle, but it's a cottage. Oh, bitch, please just stop. Well,
the whole royal family.
So don't worry about it.
The whole royal family thing. If you ask me, it all sums up to Fubar. That's right. Fubar is coming out, everybody. Fubar with Arnold Schwarzenegger. His premiere TV series is coming out on May 25th. We talked about it briefly, but the trailer came out for this. Now it's going to star the Governor himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Top Gun Maverick actor Monica Barbaro. Get you the Netflix. Get over that and check out that Fubar. So he is going in there. He's a special operative. He's retiring his daughter's a special operative. He doesn't know about it. Now they have to have him go in there to save somebody, and they find out it's his daughter, and now he has to stay out of retirement to save his daughter's life. 8 episodes. The trailer came out, and it looked like it was fun, actually. I had fun watching it. It was like some old, like, 90s kind of, action stuff with Arnold. Arnold was being Arnold, like, even some of the promotional stuff where he's smoking the cigar and stuff. It's fun. And honestly, I thought he was good in this because I've seen him do shit recently where I'm like, Arnold, maybe it's about time to hang up the boots. Maybe it's time to stop working out, put the weights away, hang out with Donkey and Whiskey. Was it Whiskey and Coco, whatever his donkey and his horse's names are. But no, this was fun. The daughter looked like she was doing a great job in it too. The moment where they find each other, I mean, it's very much, I could see it being a show. It just seems very standard TV to me. But you got Arnold in there. It's curveball. Oh, I didn't know you were a CIA agent. How did I know that? Your whole life. Now I gotta save you. Oh, you kick ass just like Dad kicks ass. Hey, it was fun. Sabrina, you saw the trailer. Are you excited about this? Did it help amp this show up for you for Netflix? Or are you just kind of like, Arnold, just stop?
I mean, I don't know. He's still the same as he is in every movie, so I'm not mad at that. And also, GR, yes, I do know what Fubar means. It's fucked up beyond all repair. So I don't know. I don't mind it. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's fun. I mean, I don't think it's going to be, anything epic or award worthy or anything, but I think it might be a fun watch. The girl who plays his daughter seems good. I enjoyed her little quips with him. Fortune Feimster was pretty funny in the trailer. I think it's good, clean fun, kind of like a National Treasure type situation. Like you're not going in there to watch an Oscar worthy movie, but it's fun. There'll be action, there'll be things happening, and I like the daughter son dynamic, and him coming out of retirement, finding out that his daughter, is a CIA agent. I think that's fun. She obviously can kick some serious ass, which I really like. Thank you, GR, by the way.
Some great action, great car chase stuff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And I'm tell you what, I watched one episode of Tulsa King, and I want to stab myself in the eye with the nearest sharp object I can find. So this, I think, is going to be much better than that.
I was actually going to ask that. I was going to say, have you guys seen Tulsa King? Because I did watch that. I watched all 9 episodes of it. So.
Oh, why?
Oh, wow. You committed.
So I'm a huge Sopranos fan.
Okay.
Huge Sopranos fan. It's written by the same people.
Oh, nice.
So bad, though. It's not that it's written bad. It's he's bad. He is really bad.
I love Stallone. I don't think Stallone was the bad part of the series. I think that
really
everything around the series was the problem. Like, Stallone was good. I love Stallone, but I never thought Stallone was as good as Arnold. Like, when you look at the tier of the 80s and 90s, it was like Arnold is the top. Stallone, I always thought Stallone and I'm trying to think of the other one, but there was 2 that were there's those 2 that were kind of at each other, and Stallone and another one was kind of competing for the second tier, 2 and 3 there was bouncing back and forth, and then the ones below it kind of thing. But Arnold was always at the top, so I like Stallone. I always give Stallone a lot of credit. I like to see what he can do, and I was like, okay, let's see Stallone do some TV, because we haven't seen them do any TV, right? This is the first attempt at seeing them work into this TV. And you're not wrong, it was terrible. But it was terrible. It was he shows up to a pot shop. They had the guy from Silicon Valley. He's an excellent actor. He wasn't the problem. It was the writing was bad, and I was like, this was written they jumped ahead on stuff. They pushed the story ahead way too quickly. They needed 13 to 14 episodes to flesh out what they were trying to do. There were so many issues, and I watched it because Jacob told me to watch it, and so Jacob's like, you gotta watch this show, and I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm so tapped on trying to find things to watch that most of my life is spent watching competition eaters on YouTube. I shit you not. That's where most of my time is spent, because I have nothing to watch. What's that one?
Shrinking. It's on Apple TV.
She doesn't have Apple TV.
No,
she doesn't have Apple TV.
And I have a hard time starting new things and stuff like that. So I'm in a weird place where I'm I really struggle to find things to watch. So when people are you should try this, you should really try this, I'm like, all right, I try to listen. I'll listen to you on as well. So, I'm not. I'll check that out later.
Shrinking's so good.
I gotta get after it because there's a ton of stuff on there I need to check out. But when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, okay, Arnold is coming at this. I see a lot of the exact same problems that I saw with Tulsa King just in the trailer for this. It's not going to be as well written as it needs to be. I think Arnold is definitely the better actor. I think Arnold's going to give a great performance. I think Arnold's not going to be the problem with this series. I don't even think the other actors are going to be the problem with this series. I think the problem with this series is going to be modern day television writing. Like, I think there's a lot of issues with the way that so many people do television. Like, there's these slapstick characters they try to push in. There's these types of characters that they try to push in. And then they try to bring in these particular types of actors, and they try to introduce these actors as the types of characters that they used to play. And they don't work in these modern settings, and they try to do these like fish out of water kind of stories. And I'm like, if you want to do a fish out of water story, you have to write a fish out of water story properly. Like I said, there were a lot of elements to Tulsa King that worked. I see a lot of like Arnold's former film stuff all throughout this. Like, I've seen Arnold play this character before. I've seen like
totally
a lot of
his
these
character
types of things come out in this. I've seen a lot of these action sequences from Arnold before. I've seen a lot of this stuff played before. I'm not excited about this. I'm not interested in this. I'm not here for this because I have seen this before and I've seen it done better. I've seen it done better and funnier, and like in the 80s it was done better, and there would have been more tongue-in-cheek like humor, and there would have been whatever. Because while I'm not someone like, it's not necessarily like I don't believe in cancel culture or any of that kind of stuff. Like, that's not like that. But like, there is a certain degree where these guys and the kind of stuff that they did and what they created kind of just worked better in the time period they did. And there are elements of that you do want there that don't work now today. I don't mean sexism and racism and things like that, but that there are some of those things that kind of flow from those eras that just don't exist in this era anymore. And so if you're going to fish out of water, you got to fish out of water properly and find a way to bring those elements, because a fish out of water from that time period is going to have those, you know what I mean? Those sort of like sexist and racist and those kind of like elements. So you've got to, if you want to do that, they have to have those. They have to bring those there. You can't PG it, and you can't, make that character still functional for today. You have to make that character not functional for today. That's the whole point. They're a not functional character for today's world, so make them a not functional character for today's world.
But he's functional in this. He's still kicking ass. He's still doing the same shit he's always doing.
And so, like, it doesn't work.
Also, he just retired. Like, it's more like a Danny Glover, like, Lethal Weapon situation. You know what I mean?
I'm too old for this shit.
Just retired. So he's not, like, out of his prime. He's just like, oh, I'm ready to retire. I'm old. I'm good. I've done my shit.
One last mission.
Yeah, it's like, well, I feel like it's not necessarily...
But how do you do more than one season, though? You know what I mean? How do you do one? I mean, it is Netflix, so probably one season and done.
Second season, maybe.
I was really excited when Schwarzenegger came back to acting, because I knew that when Schwarzenegger came back to acting, that this was going to be that point in Schwarzenegger's career where Schwarzenegger was old, and Schwarzenegger was going to start taking on roles that were not typical Schwarzenegger roles. He was going to start doing old guy roles. I wanted to see him doing more dramatic work. I wanted to see him doing more, mentor role type characters. Well, not like, I don't mind him playing like old guy action hero stuff. Like, that's fine. Like, he can do that stuff too. Like, there's always a place for that. But I wanted to see him like playing like completely different type of characters and roles, and I knew he could do it because I believe in Arnold Schwarzenegger as an actor. I've always thought that there was greater acting chops beneath this person, that there's more potential, and that when he got in his older age, that there was going to be some shit that he was going to come out and you were going to be like, damn, I never expected
there he is.
Schwarzenegger. And it was like, that's what I wanted to see from him, was like, and I've seen it from Stallone. Stallone has shown us his acting chops. He can show us like repeatedly, like he has done some really
even old Rocky
work.
So many great moments in his old Rocky.
Yeah, that was all great acting. Tulsa King is fucking pathetic. I texted Brian, I said, my dad could play this part better. Literally, my father. I was like, my dad could be better at this role than this guy. I was like, he's trying to cry and it's painful. Like, it was so hard for me to watch. I was like, I just can't. I had to shut it off.
I'm not defending like that show in any way, but I'm saying what I've watched of it and what I've seen of it, I can definitely think of like that as a solid comparison to what this show's going to be.
Right. Well, that's what, I agree.
I just like, I think with Netflix backing it, I don't think Netflix is on a good run right now. I think that without a doubt, no question, everybody's going to watch it just because of Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
I'm going to.
And this may be his segue into this might be his segue into other things. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna be like, come back and do this like super riveting role. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so he's coming back and doing him, and then he's interested in acting again, and then that may open the door for other things. So give you what you want or what you're looking for. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Not just
I
you,
hope he
but
does
I'm
more
saying
than
like
this.
your point.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
He wasn't great in Maggie, and I don't think that was a role he was suited for, but I was extremely excited to see him take on something like that. Like, it was completely outside of the box for him. I'm like, I'm here for it. It was a terrible film, but I'm still here for it, and I give you props for that, and I'm excited to see that. And, like, did you see the Escape Plan?
No.
That's
I never
the kind
saw
of
the
shit,
Escape Plan. That's
the
one in
kind
the
of
prison,
shit
right?
that I'm talking about that I want to see from Schwarzenegger. That's the old Schwarzenegger that I want. Those are the kind of roles I expect from him. Like,
The man
that
moved to the United States. He said he wanted to marry a Kennedy. He wanted to be a movie star, and that he wanted to be president. He married a Kennedy, was a very successful movie star, and became governor of California. The man's tenacious
Pretty cool.
as fuck. Okay?
Yeah.
If he
He's great.
wants to do something, he will do it. I have 100% belief in that and a lot of respect for that as well. You come here as a foreigner, and like, who says they want to marry a Kennedy and then you marry a Kennedy? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, good for you, dude. Way to get what you want. Like, good for you.
Yeah, well, good for him. And honestly, I hope we see more of those kind of like possible roles for him too. Of course, this does seem very easy for him to step into and play. And I'm still gonna check it out. But you're right, Lexi. It probably won't be much of a challenge, or it won't be outside the box enough, and it'll probably only have one season for him. It could be fun. I think it could be fun.
There's a character in the trailer for that who I'm already like, I'm out just with that character. That woman that keeps making
Fortune
all the jokes.
Feimster.
Yeah, I don't know. She drives me nuts. I was like the whole time.
She used to be on Chelsea Handler all the time. She's actually very funny, and I feel like they just showed like a lot of like weird jokes for her. I did laugh when she blew up both the vans, and she was like, "Okay, that's on me." That was kind of funny. The rest of it, not so much. But I feel like they were just trying to throw her in for that comic relief. I had more of a problem with the guy with the curly hair.
I don't like him either. Like,
he was like, they got more issues than Sports Illustrated. I'm like, that's not even funny. Like, why are you saying that? But
speaking of a female. Speaking of a female actress, speaking of a female actress that I think is really great, actually, though, is Hannah Waddingham, and she's coming back. She's coming to. She's gonna stay with Apple TV Plus, everybody, but she's doing a holiday special, and I'm not sure how Sabrina's gonna feel about this, but it's a musical. She's got a musical called Home for Christmas. Features guests and musical numbers accompanied by multiple surprise guests and a spectacular big band in front of a live audience at the London Coliseum on Apple TV+. Produced by Done Plus Dusted, and they created Mariah Carey's Christmas special in 2021. So that, she's been famous, of course, in recent years, especially for Ted Lasso. She's been massively popular because of that, and she's fantastic on that. She sang on that too. And so for me, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. She seems like she has a great voice. But then again, it's like, do we need a musical with her? I mean, Apple TV loves her, so I guess that's just like a natural step for them to do that with her. But I'm kind of like, maybe it'll be, I mean, she's entertaining, she's great, so maybe it'll be great. Sabrina, you love her, but what do you think about her doing a musical?
Well, I love Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and I hated Spirited, so I'm not really sure. If they're gonna do this type of thing, I have zero problem with her being at the helm. She has a beautiful voice. She was in Les Mis, by the way. Like, she's a singer. She's a musical theater actress. Like, she sings all the time, and she has a spectacular voice. Yeah. So if you're gonna do this sort of thing, like, why wouldn't you pick this gorgeous, like, girl boss, fucking head bitch in charge who is really, really good at what she does? I feel like she'd be a great host. She has a beautiful voice. She's pretty to look at, and I enjoy her so much. So if you are going to do this, like, absolutely do it with her. Am I going to watch it? I hate to say it, probably not. I'm not really a musical person, as we all know. But good for her. And good for them. I think they picked the right person.
When did that start, Sabrina?
I know, right?
Musicals.
She just overnight showed to Florida, and all of a sudden she hated musicals.
Aren't you a huge fan of that one at Disney, the Captain America musical?
Rogers musical. She's so amped for that right now. She's been talking about it in her sleep.
I would rather jump off a bridge and swim to safety than watch that, honestly. I watched Spirited. I didn't even know it was a musical, and I'm like, how are they making this a musical? This is such false advertising. I was pissed.
I don't know what that is.
Spirited was
It's
like
Ryan
Will
Reynolds
Ferrell
and Will
and
Ferrell,
Ryan
like two of my
Reynolds.
favorite people on the
It
planet.
was
I was like,
Scrooge.
let's
It
watch
was
it.
Christmas Story, but it was
Oh,
like
okay.
a comedy
I give you
version.
the Home Alone. It's so
Yeah.
bad.
It was very strange. I will say it's very strange, and so much so that Ryan Reynolds will never do another musical. But I mean, it still did great for
Oh,
Apple TV
God.
Plus. It did great for them, and a
It
lot of
did.
people liked it still though. So I mean, good on them. Will Ferrell was a big person behind producing it, and he got Ryan to come in and do it. So, and of course, Will Ferrell likes to sing. So that's it's,
If there
it's one
was
of those
no
things.
singing, it would have been great. Because the
But this
shit that
is
went on when there wasn't singing, it was amazing.
oh
But then
yeah
when they were
oh
singing, I was like, oh my God, make it stop. Like, it's a lot. But
but this is
I'd say good for her. Good for them.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a big holiday special be coming out this coming year, so it's like great for her. It's good publicity for her. I mean, she's riding off of Ted Lasso right now, so she's so hot right now, in the words of Zoolander.
That Hansel is so hot right now.
So hot right now. Now, Lexi, I know you haven't seen Ted Lasso yet, but what do you think about like Apple TV doing a musical like this for a holiday special? Do you think this is a good idea?
I hate holiday specials. They're just like, I feel like this is like these musical holiday specials, like
Come on,
they're
pause.
for like, I don't know.
Did you hear me yell, Ma, there's chicken on the floor? I put it on mute. I thought it would
Sabrina,
be
we can hear you. Sabrina, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
There we go. I think that's a tradition that goes back to like, I don't know, like the 40s, the 30s, like just the way that we absorbed entertainment was showcases in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like those old school showcases. The
Big song and dance numbers.
The Christmas showcase, big song and dance number is sort of a tradition of American culture. And I think that we are trying to hold on to that and keep that as part of our culture. But I think that traditional sort of like the way that we do it, singing the same fucking songs that we've been singing for the last like 50 billion years, and like somebody sitting down on a piano and laying across the piano and then singing while somebody else plays the piano. Like, I'm so fucking over it. Like, that shit doesn't interest me. It's not my kind of thing. And like, if you could find a way to give me one of those and give me a nice hard spin on it and bring in some like new fresh talent and some new artists, or I don't know, something with it. Like, this is gonna sound.
This is not going to be that.
If you could
It's not going to be that.
Bring me a Christmas special that's all done like that, but like with nothing but metal artists, or like something that's done like that with nothing but rap artists, or something like that that's done with nothing but like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying, like modern strange artists that you wouldn't particularly pick for this, like Daft Punk. Like, I don't know.
Be great.
Like I would like to see something where they just don't go back to the traditional Christmas songs, the traditional format, the traditional whatever. And I just, as I'm always complaining about on this show and everything that I talk about in life, is I just want to see something new and fresh. And this is not new and fresh. And while I know that there are a lot of people that love to have that opportunity to be able to show their singing skills and have that whatever, you know what? Seth MacFarlane, one of the best of these types of things. He's got a beautiful singing voice.
Oh, he's fantastic.
And I watched his Christmas special, and I actually think he's got one of the best ones. And you know what's great about his? 20 minutes long.
That's all it needs to be, right?
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not, obviously, I'm not going to watch this. It's on Apple TV on top of it. And I'm completely unfamiliar with the woman, and I'm completely unfamiliar with them. But I will say, she's smoking.
Love her.
Yeah.
Love her.
Oh yeah. And like I said before, she's so hot right now. And not that she's not hot in general, but in the public eye, especially because she won an Emmy too for Ted Lasso too. So the fact that she has been like so popular and so in the viewpoint, everyone loves her on this show. She's fantastic. She kind of came out of nowhere, if you ask me, but she's been around for a long time. But this is like finally getting like her respect that she deserves, because she's a phenomenal actress and she's also very talented. So it could be a lot of fun to see her do this. And they got the people that did Mariah Carey specials. So people that have done this before, again, Lexi, it's going to be a lot of the same that we've had in the past, probably.
Mariah Carey's got this fucking market non-lock, dude. Like, there's nobody
know.
like, I mean, can you? She's been doing this since the '90s. Like, hello, like.
This is her world. She's
really
probably
is
like,
her
what?
world.
She probably it's like, what the fuck? This is supposed to be my special. Why she get this?
Right?
She's probably pissed right now. But I
She
don't know.
probably
I think
really
it'd be fun.
is.
She
Mariah
might be
Carey's
pissed.
crazy.
It's like her people and everything that are doing it, so she might be livid about this. But I think it could be fun. It could be fun, and again, it's like a festive thing for the holidays. It's coming here, Apple TV Plus, and it's something that it's like they're working together with her because they know her so well. Just like Netflix is working with the Duffer Brothers even more to do more projects. Now we talked about how they're doing an animated Saturday morning Stranger Things episodic type story coming forward from Netflix and Duffer Brothers. But now Duffer Brothers have another story moving forward. It's a supernatural mystery, and they're executive producing it. It's called The Burrows, and it's created by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews, so he's working with them. 8-episode drama. It's set in a seemingly picturesque retirement community in the New Mexico desert, where a group of unlikely heroes must band together to stop an otherworldly threat from stealing the one thing they don't have, time. Now, it kind of sounds like geriatric Stranger Things, but anyways, so that's happening. The Duffer Brothers are also working with Netflix right now to develop an adaptation of the movie Death Note and also Stephen King's The Talisman. So, yep, they're working on those two projects right now also. So they're not done. This is the fresh thing they're doing right now. This is greenlit, but I'm guessing Death Note will come next. Talisman will probably come after that. You know, that's what it is. I mean, that's how it goes. They're a big. But they're a big directing duo that Netflix is like. Stranger Things is such a big thing that they're like, well, let's give them whatever they want, you know? So, Lexi, you hear about this. Do you think this is good, the Duffer Brothers getting more projects like this? Or do you think they're rushing the gun on this?
I
Jumping the gun.
These guys are fucking about as original as a fucking Andy Warhol painting. Like, I mean, let's be honest here. And which I love Warhol. I shouldn't talk smack like that. It's unfair to Warhol. These guys are really uncreative. Like, I mean, there's nothing they're doing that's original. There's nothing they're doing. Like, they're just dipping into a bag. They're sticking all that shit together, and they're going, "Hey, look, it's the '80s. Hey, look, it's this. Hey, look, it's that." Which I know, like, there's always that statement of, "Well, there's no more original ideas." It's like, and I know you can take a bunch of like pre-existing ideas and stick them all together and eventually end up with some kind of original concept or what have you, but like there's nothing about Stranger Things that appeals to me. I'm not the demographic for it, but also I'm entirely the demographic for it, and it should appeal to me and it should be for me. Like it gets confusing for me because it's like it should be my show, but it's not my show. It's like shit that I grew up with, but then it's like not as good as shit that I grew up with. And I think that's really what it comes down to is like I watched that show and I go, this is inaccurate. This is not very 80s, even though you want it to be 80s. It feels like fan service. It feels like too much like self-flatulation. It feels like too much of all this like nonsense, and I'm not a fan of Stranger Things. I think the music's great. I think the music's probably the highlight of the entire series, but like I don't like Stranger Things, and I don't really like the direction it's going. I think that like it started out stronger than it's going. I think the direction the series is going, and I know we're not here to talk about that, but when you're asking me about the Duffer Brothers, that's all I got to work off of is that show. If that's all I've got to work off of, I mean, that being said, this show, is it about old people or kids again?
Old people that are in it's old people that are in a actual retirement home, and there's some creature coming to take their time. So
I don't like one of my favorite movies. If you're familiar with Bubba Hotep,
I love Bubba Hotep. Oh, so good, Bubba Hotep. Yeah, Bruce Campbell from the show.
I don't hate the idea of geriatrics fighting against an unknown evil, because if there's one thing we've learned in life, people don't listen to old people and children. And so, it's really interesting when you make films where children and old people are your focal characters, because when they save the day, it's so beautiful because it's like no one listens to children and no one listens to old people.
Right.
And it's nice to have that. And if you can flesh this out and do this right, I'm not mad at it. But I don't want a bunch of nostalgia-fueled bullshit. I don't want a bunch of like what have yous. I don't want a bunch of like shit I've seen a billion times before. Like, there's a way to execute this and have fun with this and bring me something fresh and original. Because when you say to me, senior citizens fighting an enemy in a senior's home, I get Bubba Hotep vibes. I get excited. I'm like, yes.
Go.
But then, like, when you say the Duffer Brothers, I go, oh, is there a toilet you can drop this in for me? Because I'm immediately out. Like, I'm like, that Saturday morning cartoon concept that you're telling me about, I'm like, that's going to be shit. That's going to be shit. I'm not even here for that. Like, I'm so.
And they're going to do a
not here for
spin-off, too, of Stranger Things as well. They're doing a spin-off they're developing as well. So,
fuck off. Like, I'm just, like, so not here for it. Like, I just don't need a fucking spin-off. The only spin-off of Stranger Things I want to know what the fuck those Russians are actually doing. Like, I want a whole show
that's
just
a good
about
question.
them. That's what I care about. I don't want to watch more kids. I don't want more trips to the fucking mall. I don't want more 80s shit. I want to see, like, the actual shit that's going on in this show. I want to know more about the science. I want to know more about the world building, because their world building's crap. Because they're so busy spending entire episodes having them do photo shoots and fucking Ghostbusters costumes. I'm like, I already have those pictures. You want to see me in my Ghostbusters costume from the 80s? I did this shit. I don't need to watch this. Like, I know I'm old. Like, I get it. But, like, fuck it. Like,
fired up tonight.
It's not interesting to me. It's not an interesting fucking TV show. And these guys, like, I'm sorry, like, Stephen King, they're making a Stephen King movie. Of course you're making a fucking Stephen King movie. You've made a Stephen King TV show. Why don't you fucking make a Stephen King
way
movie?
better than Stephen King could do, by the way. Just saying.
Well, I mean, if Stephen King was more involved in his projects and just handing them off to people, they might actually be a little bit
They could be better.
Because, like, his
Sabrina,
writing is good.
Are you that fired up, Sabrina, about this as Lexi is? Do you think the Duffer Brothers shouldn't be doing this? How do you feel about this situation?
Well, first of all, it was very hard for me to listen to all the terrible things you just said about Stranger Things, to be perfectly honest. Like, I really, like, I don't even know what's happening right now. Like, I feel like you're personally attacking me, and I don't like it. Because this is really not my genre. And after the first season, I was like, I have to wait for a second season. And then after, I agree with you that it did get worse as it went on. Like, as most shows do, though, let's be clear. It's not like it's an anomaly in that way. Most shows, start off strong, you get a fan.
It shouldn't have hard weekend the way it did. Like, I thought it should have, like, picked up, because I was like, okay, first season's a little weak, but I'm gonna give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna see, like, where it goes. And then it, like,
the second season was pretty good, but then they started introducing new characters, and usually I fucking hate that, but I really like all the new characters that they brought in. Like, I love that Sadie Sink. She's fucking great. I love that Dungeons and Dragons they had last season. Who was that guy? I loved him.
They introduced the best character in the show and then kill him in season 4. I'm like, this is the best character any.
Are you talking to the guy with the hair?
The fucking metal guy. The guy who
he was great.
Master Puppets to best character in the entire fucking series, and you kill him. I'm like,
way too old to be playing Dungeons and Dragons with children. Let's be clear, but he was really, really good.
I just want to say for the record, I know that guy, and I played D&D with that guy, the way too old guy to play D&D with us. Like,
what's he doing here?
But those guys like totally teach you how to play D&D. So if you want to learn, they're the best.
I'm just saying.
They gotcha.
I'm like, you're a little bit old, and like, I'm not surprised you're being accused of murdering the teenage girl who was at your house. Like, it just seems like it seemed fine. But I panic. As it got, for sure, as it kept going, I literally was like it was, it was not my favorite season for sure, but I was still very invested in it, and I'm still excited to see, what they're gonna do. And that to me is like something. I know you're saying it's not original, but to me, in the sea of remakes, premakes, prequels, sequels, it's like enough is enough. Like, at least it's something that they brought to the table that was different. Yes, it's recycling old ideas and putting them together, but it's still not a singular old idea, and I appreciate that. Now, this new thing to me sounds like Brian said, a geriatric version of Stranger Things. So I'm a little confused. Like, they didn't write it; they're being brought on. The other two dudes wrote it. So, like, what were they like? Let's write something that's similar to Stranger Things with old people, and then get them on board to help us do it. Is that the deal?
No, we'll contact the Duffer Brothers, and it'll be great because they'll love it.
Yeah,
because it's like what they're doing.
And like, old people do it. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm with you on Bubba Hotep, so I feel like we can be friends again. But
they should get Bruce Campbell to be in this shit. Can you imagine if Bruce Campbell was in this? I'd be all about it then. I'd be like, sold.
Yep.
I just saw Bruce Campbell on an episode.
That's how you sell me on this. You bring me an all-star cast of old, retired, like, horror guys who, like, used to be like at the peak of their horror career, and have them all be like the people in the home, and have them be the people that are fighting this. Like you said, Bruce Campbell, and like just go get some of those old guys and just have them like fucking in the home, and then have them be the people
Get
that are
Freddy
dealing
Krueger,
with this.
Robert England,
England, Robert England, he'd be excellent.
Throw him in there.
Good casting. I mean, like those would be great people to see, like these old school like people. I mean, is he still? I don't want to. Is he still alive? I can't. I don't know. If
That's always a problem.
But I'm trying to think of what's his name. Reanimator.
I think he is still alive.
I think bring him in. He's my favorite.
I can see his
He'd be so good
face.
for that.
What is his
I
name?
can see his face. He's like so iconic, but I can't think of his but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he'd be great.
That could be fun.
That'd be so
that could
good.
make it interesting too. And then then the Duffer Brothers. I mean, they're executive producing. They're not directing it necessarily. They're just kind of like opening the door for Netflix. And Netflix is like, yeah, you want to be involved with this, so we'll make this happen. But I do feel like if you get the right cast, it could be good, especially like we're talking about an older generation doing that. But it is very similar to Stranger Things in a lot of ways. But, it's about time. It's about getting old, and, it's Duffer Brothers. They apparently have the stamp of approval on Netflix. Whatever they want to do, they're going to get greenlit. So we're going to get that spinoff of Stranger Things. We'll probably get that Stephen King series, and we'll probably get the Death Note, and it'll all be coming to Netflix.
Talesman's not the one. Dreamcatcher. I'm thinking of Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher's the one with the aliens, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
that movie was actually a lot of fun.
Talisman's kind of in the Dark Tower series, isn't it? Isn't that where that comes from?
I think maybe. I haven't. It's been so long. I don't remember.
It's been a minute since I'm familiar with that one. I don't know. Like I guess I'm okay. We'll see. Stephen King stuff always kind of just hits. It's fine. Like it always does well enough. But like I don't know. I'm not.
Most of it's shit. Some of it is really good, but most of it is shit.
I'd agree with you on that. Like there's so much of it though that it's like you're right. Like shit. Oh, this one was really good. Shit. Oh, this one was like whatever. But there's so much to sift through.
But they're great. There's really not an in between. It's either shit or great. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. You're absolutely correct in that too. Like they're garbage or they're great.
So weird. Yeah. It's so weird.
One thing I can definitely say that the Duffer Brothers do well, and it's something that I talk about frequently on my show, is the use of color. They have an excellent use of color in their show. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I highly compliment. That's one thing I complain about with Hollywood all the time, is they have a very poor use of color in today's world. So,
well, I want to talk now. We got to get into our feature story now, but we're going to talk about something we don't normally talk about, but it's also affecting a lot of people. So now it's time for our feature story of the night. All right, everybody. We always try to, keep it even keel on the politics stuff here. But this is entertainment. And if you ask me, both these people are entertainers too. And it shook the world today. A lot of people were going nuts. And I was shocked by this news too.
The world?
Every news feed, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. I mean, I couldn't get it. I couldn't go anywhere without seeing it. It shook the world. So Tucker Carlson was fired and Don Lemon was fired. Now, it doesn't matter what side you are on the political line. It's like you probably loved one of these people.
That's
if you're on the right, you probably love this person. If you're left, probably love this person. It's nuts because there were such big influential figures on their network and involving entertainment, news, the world we live in. They're big figures. I mean, 3 million people tune into Tucker Carlson's show every night. 3 million people. Don Lemon was going through some sexual assaults or not assault, but sexual investigations. And then he had the whole thing where he went off about Nikki Haley about like her age, and so that was a whole thing. They pulled him off the news and they brought him back, but then they said that he was having problems behind the scenes. And now Tucker Carlson out of nowhere got fired too. And that was one of those things that they both said that it took him off, like, they weren't expecting it. I mean, Tucker Carlson said on Friday, I'll see you on Monday. And then he was gone over the weekend. Don Lemon came out and he was like, he's pretty much said, I was shocked. I'm stunned, he said. After 17 years on CNN, I always thought someone in management would have just the decency to call me. And then CNN's like, well, we did try to have a meeting, but then you denied it, so we just put it out on Twitter. And they're both Twitter notifications on both people's fronts. So it's just like, all of a sudden, we're going to fire both these people who are big figureheads in our network out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And I think the reason why Tucker Carlson was fired, because there's something coming out right now about Abby Grossberg, who was fired from Fox. And she has a lawsuit going out there about alleged discrimination and on gender, religion, and disability. And another producer on Tucker Carlson's show was fired. So to me, it seems like maybe that's the correlation for her. And with Don Lemon, it seems like, well, there's been all these allegations against him too at work. And I think it comes down to that too. Like the Nikki Haley thing was like nothing, you know what I mean? It was like just a small thing out of like a grand scale people are saying. But it's weird. It's weird that networks would have big people like this, big figures like this, just fire them over the weekend and tweet about it, if you ask me. And it's going to shake the political landscape. It's crazy. I'm shocked. Right? That's like the biggest thing for me. I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's even real. Like it's not. I don't care what line where you fall in the line. To me, it's like I'm surprised these networks would fire people. It would be like firing a lead actor on a TV show or a movie. It would be like that, groundbreaking. You know what I mean? Like you bet that's been going on for like 10 seasons. All of a sudden, we're gonna fire somebody out of nowhere. So that's what it's like for me. It's big news on the networks, and it's big news on the news. Like I said, it shook Twitter today. It shook everywhere. I know people are probably very divided on these characters. Some people love them, some people hate them. But I just want to talk about it briefly because it is huge. It's huge news. And we don't usually delve into this realm, but it is, in a way, entertainment too, because a lot of these people speak about this stuff. They definitely talk about entertainment. They talk about the news. They talk about everything. We do the news too. So it affects everything. Sabrina, I know you're going to be very fired up about this. What do you think about this? Do you think that this is... I think so. I have an idea you might be.
I'm really fired up.
I was told that you will be very fired up about this.
Well,
so I'm here. I'm here to hear.
I'm not very fired up.
What do you think about Fox and CNN firing these figureheads?
Can I just say real quick with Carlson? It was the Dominion voting stuff. That because of how he was dealing with it, he was like one of the primary people. But then on top of that, his tweets about talking shit about Trump and how he didn't want him there. Those two things combined together is basically why Rupert Murdoch was like, get rid of him, get him out of there.
Yeah, like, Rupert's like, you don't talk shit about Trump. You know, that's a thing.
He also pulls the most ad revenue out of any show on Fox, which is the reason
100%.
why he was very at the fore. It was almost like he ran the network because his show was the most successful. Like $73 million of ad revenue per episode of his piece of shit show. You know what I mean? Like it was leaps and bounds over any other show on Fox.
Yeah.
So they kind of gave him carte blanche, and he got more and more ballsy and said more and more of whatever the fuck he wanted. And, you know, there was another lawsuit against him years ago, and his lawyers, Fox's lawyers and Tucker's lawyers, literally gave the response that it's obvious that he is not telling the truth. It's an entertainment-based show. And any sane person would not believe what he is saying, which is really fucked up because it is on a news channel and everyone obviously thinks that he's telling the truth. So he's been in trouble before with lawsuits and stuff. So I'm really surprised that they did pull the trigger and let him go, honestly, because he has been at the forefront of many legal battles at this point, you know? And this Dominion voting thing is one thing, but there is another voting machine that is also suing Fox, and they said that they are not settling out of court. They're going to take it to the mat. So, you know, maybe that is part of the issue as well. I just don't like. The problem is, like, if you were doing a opinion-based show like we do, you know, like this is what we heard and this is our opinion about it, that will be one thing. But for you to be sitting on television and telling people bold-faced lies or things that you know aren't true, in order to sway a public opinion is, I think it's pretty shitty. It's really on the level of propaganda. And I say that in conjunction with Tucker Carlson and with John Lemon, you know, because the right tries to influence the right and the left tries to influence the left. And the truth is always somewhere in between. So I'm not really sure how this happened with Tucker because he seemed to be like the god of Fox. But John Lemon apparently has been having problems for years. And I think that it's super weird that they, you know, brought him back after giving him like a light leave of absence. Oh my God, that picture is hilarious.
You also have like a thing that says try sign into Spectrum TV on your picture right now, Sabrina. I don't know what that is.
I do?
Yeah.
You do.
Right. Sign in.
I don't know what kind of ads you got. I don't know what kind of ads you got going on right now for Spectrum, but Spectrum is not sponsoring Kruse Control. Everybody out there. So
it said squares, by the way, not Spectrum.
Okay.
So
it's very tiny.
Good job.
Yeah, but great picture of Don Lemon, huh?
Yeah, Don Lemon looks like he belongs in Boogie Nights in that shot. And where's he going?
Like a fly.
Where's Roller Girl? So yeah, Don Lemon apparently has also had a shit ton of problems as well. Like I read a very long Variety article about him today, and In 2008, he was with a co-anchor, like doing a show, and she got a job overseas that he wanted, and he started sending her a bunch of fucked up text messages and shit. They traced it back to him. He has somehow like kept his job through a lot of what's the right word?
Terrible behavior.
Controversy?
Yeah, controversy. Thank you. Also terrible behavior.
Terrible
Lexi.
behavior.
Yes. But like he somehow was able to keep coming through it all. And like that also probably made him brazen in the same way that Tucker got brazen because his show made the most money and he was like, I do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
So I think Don Lemon also came into a sense of that confidence, you know, that nothing's going to shake him and he's gotten through all this shit and he can do whatever the fuck he wants, which is unfortunate and inappropriate. And you're there for a purpose, and the purpose is not to serve yourself. The purpose is to serve the people. Like as a news anchor, you're supposed to be bringing the truth to the people. And I feel like, you know, Don Lemon probably was more true to bringing the truth to people than Tucker Carlson was, in my personal opinion. But I feel like they both definitely, you know, were pushing their own agenda, you know, and that's not really something that's appropriate for you to do on a news station. Again, if you were on The View or The Talk or something like that, you know what I mean? Like you can give your opinion on whatever you want, but when you're selling it to people as news, it's a different fucking thing. I was very surprised to read all those things about Don Lemon because when he had a show, Don Lemon Tonight, I used to enjoy it. They moved him to like some morning slot and it just never seemed to go well for him. And then he got like he'd had that Nikki Haley thing and they let him go and they brought him back for like 5 fucking minutes and then they fired him. And the thing that's really shitty is CNN didn't even tell him he was fired. His manager called him and told him he was fired.
Yeah.
He didn't even fucking know.
Hey, they claim that they tried to contact him to have a sit down, but he denied it. That's what they said. Yeah.
I was going to say, I read that.
Yeah,
and
that's what they said.
They tried to sit with him, and then he refused to not come to it. And then he's like, "Oh, I was never told that."
All right, no, I'm stunned. You know
really?
what I mean?
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because he had this whole tweet where he said he was stunned, and like after 17 years, he came and called me. And then they put out their thing saying, "Hey, we tried to contact him. We wish him the best in his future." They use future endeavors, which is what Vince McMahon likes to use. Just saying, "We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors." Vince McMahoned him, and then
Vince McMahon out on him.
And then, you know, they let him, then that was it, you know, but they called him out on his shit, you know? So it's just like, you can't, again, like Sabrina's saying, it's like, you're doing the news, CNN, ever since Warner Brothers changed to Zaslav, we talked about that a lot, how Zaslav came in with Discovery. They own Warner Brothers. Well, they also own CNN because of that. And Zaslav said he wanted to make it much more neutral and not so far one way or the other, you know?
Right.
So for me, I saw the writing on the wall for Lemon because I think that he has been a little bit more extreme for that network. And then and the allegations coming out, then moving him to the morning show, and then like taking him off, I'm like, it's only a matter of time till they're firing this guy. I was more surprised at Tucker Carlson because I'm like, I thought that he was untouchable regardless of the shit he'd say. Yeah. I feel like he was
untouchable.
Yeah, I feel like he'd almost push the barriers and be like, hey, they'll never fucking fire me. So I'm gonna say what the hell I want. You know what I mean? And then he got fired. I think he's probably like, what the shit today, you know? It just blows my mind. It just really does. A little, yeah, I know, right? Lexi, how do you feel about it? You're surprised too about all this, right?
Oh, I woke up today and I was like, Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox. And I immediately texted like 6 people. I was like, Tucker Carlson got fucking fired. I'm like, that's insane. That's like the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Heir to the Swanson fortune, by the way. I just want to throw that out there one more time.
Heir to the Swanson fortune. And let me tell you, his daddy ain't no fucking piece of work either. What a piece of shit his fucking dad was too. That guy spent his entire career as a reporter destroying a trans woman's life, and then his son went on to destroy thousands of trans people's lives as well as thousands of other minorities' lives and all that kind of shit. Like his son like definitely like took his daddy's mantle and like ran with it. Like that whole family is just fucking garbage. Like they're just a generation of garbage people, and I have nothing nice to say about any of them. But Don Lemon took me by surprise because I saw this stuff with like Carlson, and I was like, oh my god. And then like 2 hours later, I see the shit with Lemon, and I'm like, oh my god. And then Don Lemon's
that
fired.
That picture is hilarious.
And I was like, Don Lemon is like kind of an institution. And I was really shocked to see that one too. And then I was like, what did Don Lemon even do? Because I don't know a lot about him to like know what he possibly could have done. So it was like total shock because it's like, you know, you think of CNN, they say they're in the middle, but like they have more of a left leaning in their presentation of
Definitely.
stuff. So it's you think of like a hard left network getting rid of their guy, and then the hard right network getting rid of their guy, and I was like, whoa. But the thing with Carlson leaving, so first of all, Fox has been working on their streaming service, their right-wing streaming service that they've been working on. Carlson's got like, what, 2-3 shows on that thing? So if he's been eliminated from Fox with his show, what even happened to those shows? Because those were also the major selling points of Fox's streaming service. So I'm wondering, like, what does this do to Fox's streaming service? What does this do to that? The other side of it too, that needs to be thought about and needs to be realized, is that they think, like, they look at, like, Fox is taking a stance right now because at the end of the day, Fox has always kind of been, even though they started this like as like a cable network, Fox itself has always been like what's the word? Not cable, a network television.
Network.
Yeah, network.
So they've always kind of they've had to kind of create a bit of like a, well, we're not really. So they've had to lie about that over and over and over. Like they've had to say, no, we're not this. That's a lie they've had to perpetuate continuously. We all know that it's a lie, but they've been able to kind of perpetuate it. When they're at the point that they're at right now, they can't keep maintaining their lie. Like their lie is so blatantly obvious, like that they can't keep it. So this is kind of one of those, like, you've been caught way too hard in your lie, and you got to kind of like do some cleanup and stuff. They've built
only because it costs the company so much money. Only because it costs
exactly. But at the same time, they have built this. Fox News is directly responsible for building the template for all right-wing crazy like networks. Like, you wouldn't, without Fox News, you don't have a Newsmax, you don't have Ben Shapiro's network,
but there are
have all these other things.
There are actually very reputable shows on Fox News. Like, actually, people who Chris Matthews used to have a very fair show that was, in the middle and not completely right or completely left, just truthful.
I was laughing.
You know what I mean?
It's funny when you think about like Bill O'Reilly and how insane he was, but when you look at Tucker Carlson and you're like, Bill O'Reilly was a sane, normal human being in comparison 100%. To Tucker Carlson, and Bill O'Reilly was nuts. It's like, and it's like, but in comparison, it's like, this guy's fucking like insane compared to Bill O'Reilly. And it's like, so when they got rid of O'Reilly and they went the Carlson direction, it opened this door and it created this new kind of like fan base. And the fan base that it created was rabid and they're insane. And Carlson's fan base isn't a Fox News fan base. They're a Tucker Carlson fan base. And despite what they might think,
he's the most popular, but people are
very
still
popular.
watching
3
Fox
million a
News
day.
all fucking day.
He's gonna,
you know what I mean? Like, Brian's parents watch Fox News all day long. Doesn't matter who the fuck is on. Like, Tucker's probably their favorite,
right?
But they're watching Fox News all day.
Laura Ingraham, they love Laura.
Programming. It's just
when
he's just
Laura
like
Ingraham
would push more of an opinion as opposed to a fact, and I find that like it's you're misinforming people, and that's not cool.
This is not going to hurt Tucker at all. This
is not at all.
He'll have a new show tomorrow.
Want a benefit for him. Newsmax is chomping at the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Newsmax is losing their fucking mind. And if he goes to Newsmax,
free agent,
Newsmax is gonna boom. Newsmax is gonna become the new Fox News all day, every day. I fully believe that he's gonna join Ben Shapiro's network. Which, God, what is that one called again?
I feel like Ben Shapiro would not be supportive of him.
No, Ben Shapiro will totally take him in because
I do like Rachel's take.
People in.
Lemon and Carlson team up. We'll call him Lemon Carlson, and they can have
Daily Wire.
Good cop, bad cop.
That's what I'm picking up. So this is my theory. Okay, this is where I'm going to go. Just hear me out here. Ben Shapiro has been building this Daily Wire network for a very, very long time. He's got a lot of very high profile right wing faces underneath Daily Wire at this exact point in time. The chick from Star Wars, when she got fired from Star Wars from Mandalorian.
Gina Carano?
Gina, yeah.
Yeah. She's at Daily Wire. She's making movies
Oh,
for
really?
them. She's making all those crazy right-wing, super right-wing movies for Daily Wire. Daily Wire's making movies. They're making TV shows. They're making all kinds of crazy like news and podcasts. And they got Shapiro and they got like all this kind of stuff. They're building a right-wing empire right now that people should be scared of. Like, because the misinformation that's coming out of the Daily Wire is the scariest misinformation of anything. And as a transgender person, I follow Daily Wire because I'm scared of the information that's coming out of it. And Matt Walsh is part of that shit, all that kind of shit. And Matt Walsh is the scariest motherfucker out there. And Carlson is right up there with Matt Walsh. These two are right on the fucking same level. And these are people that you should need to be scared of. Without Fox behind Carlson, Carlson has the freedom to be as unhinged as Walsh. If he becomes as unhinged as Walsh and he goes to a network that allows him to keep spewing the crazy rhetoric that he's already been spewing on Fox, and he takes that fan base from Fox with him, because he's going to. They're all just going to follow him wherever the fuck he goes.
Wherever he goes, they're going to go. Yeah, for sure.
He's just going to help build an even larger right-wing profile with whatever fucking network he goes to. Well, like I said, whether it's Daily Wire, whether it's fucking Newsmax, whether he creates his own thing. But he's not going to create his own thing. Because he's going to take something that already pre-exists and empower it. And it's going to grow and grow and grow, because so that pre-existing base is already there. He doesn't need to build his own thing. He just needs to take something that already exists and just pump it up. Because that's how Carlson works. He's not a very smart person, but he's a face, and he's a powerful enough face that he can take those people, and those people will listen to him because he's really good at getting people to listen to him for some reason. I don't know why, because anything he says sounds stupider
People
than hell.
love him.
And when he talks, he sounds like a
I
fucking
get what
idiot.
you're saying. Like, he's going to take people with him, but like, I'm going to again use Brian's parents as an example. Like, I don't think Marlene and Dean can find him anywhere else. So they're just going to keep watching Fox News, and whoever else shows up, they're just going to watch that show instead.
But there's
a lot of people like that.
You're not wrong, and that's like half of them. Half of them are going to be like what you said. The other half are going to go wherever he goes. And
there are people who will follow him for sure.
The people who were tuned into Fox, those crazy people who were specifically there for that stuff, they're all going to leave, and Fox is going to become kind of middle ground. They're not going to be as crazy right wing as they were, because they don't have that ability.
Remember that? Fair and balanced?
Yeah. Well, they might actually get there at this point, because like they are not going to be able to maintain that when they've gotten rid of so much of that, because so much of that base is not going to.
The problem with news is that nothing is fair and balanced anymore. It's it's either skewed right, skewed left. It doesn't fucking matter. There is no fair and balanced.
PBS.
Like, if we could just get back to people reporting the fucking news, it would be very helpful to society, and it would stop the severe division that is like fueling fires right now in our fucking country. Like, I just think if people knew actually what was going on, and people were willing to report actually what was going on, that it wouldn't be this bad.
It's really frustrating. Like, with what you say, like, for me to get my news proper, I have to go to the first source, then the second source. Then
I just Google shit and read.
I kind of have to go back and forth.
Like
you said, like, you have to go off of both of those, and then you have to see who has the same information, and then kind of pull through those. Like I just said, PBS has wonderful like basic information. I think PBS has the best raw news. If you're looking for the most non-biased news, PBS. But outside of PBS, like, most of like
there's always gonna be an opinion.
And it's
There's
weird to tell people, like,
besides it.
it's weird to tell people to watch PBS, but like my buddy taught me about it years ago. He's like, if you really want non-biased news, watch PBS. And I was like, really? And I started watching like Frontline on PBS, and I was like, this is great. Like, it's really genuinely the best source I've gone to. I mean, like you said, it's almost impossible to kind of whatever. You still have to, like, if you really want, like,
no unbiased news, really.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's
you have to research your shit on your own. You have to Google, okay, this happened, let me see this. And read 10 fucking articles to be like, okay, what is the truth? And it's really annoying.
Yeah, you always have to, because there's always going to be opinion-based stuff out there. Everyone's having their opinion in news. It's just what it is these days. Hence why these networks are trying to change it. They're trying to make it more middle ground. They're trying to get bigger audiences that way. They're trying to get rid of these old, like, generic kind of, like, facade, like, opinions people have of these networks. And I don't know, for me, Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson, it's probably good they're leaving these networks. They will find homes someplace else. We know they will. I still like the idea, like Rachel's saying, and GR, throw them in a ring, see what happens, and maybe make their own network. Who knows, together. But they will find a home somewhere, everybody. That's just what happens. It's big breaking news though today, everybody. It's big breaking news, and we're
For
going
the
way
first time
over.
ever.
Yeah,
Rachel's
we're going
right,
way
though.
over though.
Just real quick though, Rachel's 100% correct. We need another Walter Cronkite. He was the
Yeah,
greatest
for
reporter in American history, and we need another non-biased reporter like him to come back in. He is still the greatest reporter to ever live.
I mean, one day,
You need a
hopefully, someone
network
comes
that
along.
will allow that. Like the network skews the news too. It's like who's involved?
Absolutely.
It's such a pyramid
Yep.
of go fuck yourself. It's too hard.
Yep. That's why this is so shocking that they're firing people that have been like figureheads like this for so long. But the right way. But
I will say
We're
anyways,
all right. We're all wrong.
Yeah.
Unless we agree with GR, then we're right.
Levin being fired doesn't matter though. Carlson being fired, this is going to have
It's huge.
social implications. It's like be prepared to see the right lose their shit.
We'll see what happens next. Only time will tell, everybody. But anyways, thank you everybody for being here tonight. It's been fun chatting with you about everything going on. Of course, like that Tucker Carlson thing and the whole like Don Lemon thing. It's a lot. It's a lot. And like Lexi's saying, we'll see what happens. Anyways, everyone, check out Cinema D'Amore. They're doing the whole Fast and Furious thing right now.
Woo!
They've been watching so much, going through these movies, combing through them, getting the facts, talking about them,
Right.
and they're going to bring it to you live. So get out there, check out Cinema D'Amore. You're going to love it. Some great conversation on these movies, and I can't wait to, and I'll be there. Tune in with us, everybody. Check it out.
Yep.
Lexi, thank you so much for being here. We love
Absolutely.
having you here.
Thank
And
you for
I'm
letting
so
me
excited
interrupt you a
about it.
million times.
Oh no, get in there like always. That's what we do. It's fun to talk. It's just that's what this is all about. Having a conversation about this. At the end of the day, we're just friends having fun. And you know what? It's a good day. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here as always. Appreciate
having
you. Everyone out there, thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe. Join our Patreon if you can. And you know what? We're at like 232 subscribers, and we went up like 10 yesterday. So just keep telling everybody. I think somebody told that chinchilla that walked past the Ring doorbell on Friday. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your uncle, tell your aunt, tell your grandma, grandpa, step-cousin, great ancestors that live back someplace in time. Tell them to get a computer, get Kruse Control, subscribe right now. And everyone out there, please do it yourself if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we love having you. Have a great night. Enjoy your Monday, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Take care, everybody. And as always, see ya.
Bye.